Right then, welcome to question 7. This is a question designed to catch you out. They put it at the back end of the paper deliberately to catch you out, so careful to be methodical about this, because that's the only way you can be certain to avoid being caught out. But here we go. So first thing to do is times out the brackets, and we'll get ourselves 8 minus 6x is greater than 5 minus 4x minus 8. So there's any number of different ways you can go about doing this, but we've got a bunch of different things all in the wrong place. So let's take that 5 there and minus 8. Let's put those together. So we get 8 minus 6x is greater than minus 4x minus 3, because obviously plus 5 and minus 8 is minus 3. And next thing we can do is add 3 to both sides to get rid of that minus 3 there. So 11 minus 6x is greater than minus 4x. And looking very neat already. Next thing we can do, add 6x to both sides. So we'll get 11 is greater than 2x. And finally, 5.5 is greater than x, or x is less than 5.5. So like I say, quite important that you're methodical with that, because it is designed to catch you out. So don't be surprised if it does. Just with a small slip, which happens to everybody. So question 7b is a little bit different. You've got to try and use your brain a little bit more, I suppose, with this. But what I would do is keep it as a quadratic, if you can. So if you go 2x squared plus 5x, and then take 12 from both sides, minus 12. I should probably explain that when I say keep it as a quadratic. You've all seen quadratics and you've worked with quadratics before, and then you see this in a form that's not really so familiar to you. So if you put it back into this quadratic form, if you can imagine where that greater than or equals sign is, if it was just an equals sign, you'd be right at home with solving that. But leave it as that for now. We'll treat it as a quadratic and then go back to that sign in a minute. So there's any number of ways of solving a quadratic. What I do is take that 2 there and this minus 12 there, times them together, and you get minus 24. And then what I want is a number that when two numbers, when multiplied, when times together, they make minus 24. When added together, they make plus 5. So in this case, those two numbers are going to be 8 and minus 3. They're my two numbers there. So then I just write out exactly the same thing, 2x squared, but instead of writing plus 5x, I write plus 8x minus 3x. Plus 8x minus 3x is exactly the same as plus 5. I've just written it out in a longer way, and then minus 12 there. Then what I can do is I can group together some of these things. If you go from those first two terms there, and you say what's in common for both of those, well, you can take out the 2, and you can take out x. Then what do you get left with? Well, again, x plus 4, because 2x times x is 2x squared, 2x times 4 is 8x. Then do the same thing, I'll do it in a different colour, orange I think. For those next two terms, well, you can take out minus 3 from both those terms, and you get left with, surprise surprise, x plus 4. Those will always be the same. Okay, that x plus 4 and that x plus 4, they should always be the same there. If you haven't got the same thing in there, you've made a mistake. Go back, check it, because chances are you have made a mistake. So then the next thing, take 2x minus 3, we've taken that from there and there. That's one of the brackets. The other bracket is your identical x plus 4s. So remember, I should have maybe done this all the way through, but this is always greater than 0. And then you get left with two numbers. If you were doing this as an equals, then you'd have two numbers. But the numbers that we're going to get are going to be for this term here, are going to be 3 over 2. And for this one, it's going to be minus 4. Because obviously if x plus 4, let's say equals, if x plus 4 is equal to 0, then x is equal to minus 4. So anyway, you've got those two terms there, you know how to get those. So when you've got those two, you have to look at the equation that you get given at the beginning. You've got a quadratic, which you've all seen before. It's just a form of an x squared. Let me just draw out a set of axes here. Maybe I can explain this a little bit better with some axes. So you've got some parabola shape. There we go, let's just do some parabola shape. Doesn't matter where it is particularly. And now you've found out that it cuts the x-axis at 3 over 2 and minus 4, which means my drawing is completely wrong, but it serves the same purpose. So we go here, there's one point, there's another point. So what it's saying is, where is x squared plus 5x, where is it greater than or equal to 12? Well, we can say it another way. If we go back up to the top here, we can say, where is that whole equation greater than or equal to 0? Well, it's after point number 2, let's call that point number 2. It's after that, and it's before point number 1. So we've got our point number 1. Point number 1 is going to be minus 4 because it's the lower of the two. Point number 2 is going to be 3 over 2. So we can say as our answer that this is true, this what we get given in B, that remains true if and only if x is less than or equal to minus 4, or if x is greater than or equal to 3 over 2, 1.5. And that's the answer. It does help to draw out a sketch there. Obviously I haven't done it very well in that case, but you can draw it out and you can get the idea from that. So, hope that's helped. See you on the next